So today we're here to talk all about communication, whether it's that you want to know what's a great message to send to a potential date on Match, or you want to know what to talk about when you're on that date. I'm here to help you improve your communication skills and really connect with the matches that you want. The thing about communication is, with great communication, it will really help you to stand out to potential matches online, and it will really help you also to attract the right people to you. So to kickstart with today, we do have a vote, and the first vote is going to ask you, do you think that you're a good communicator? If you haven't joined in one of these sessions before, you can vote now by clicking the plus button. If you're on a desktop computer, that's going to be in the top right hand corner of your screen. If you're on a mobile, it's going to be in the bottom left corner. Now, this session, as much as it is about hopefully me coaching you and giving you some really practical tips about how you can improve your dating life, this session is also about you. It's about you participating, joining in with our amazing community here at Match and getting your questions answered. So throughout this broadcast, I am going to be giving you 4 opportunities to vote, and this is your first one. There's also an opportunity to send me a like. If you enjoy something I'm saying, you can hit the little heart button that's also on your screen. Finally, you can also send your questions in. So at the end of this session, there's going to be an opportunity where I will be answering your questions live, and I'll also be answering them throughout the session. If you use the chat box on screen, it's also a brilliant opportunity for you to interact with other Match members out there. So I really want you to get involved and to remember that this session is about you. So today, just to recap a little bit about what we're going to be covering, as I said, we're really focused on communication skills. And if at the moment you're not quite getting the matches or the dates that you want, chances are by improving your communication skills, we can create some easy wins for you here to be able to get on more of the dates that you like. Simply put, when you're able to stand out in someone's inbox and show them what an amazing individual you are, you're more likely to attract the right people to you. So to kickstart today, after this introduction, our first chapter is actually going to be all about messaging, which is how do I message someone effectively? And I know how difficult it can be. Well, the first message can be pretty tricky, and even after that, how do you follow up? How and when do you go about suggesting a first date with someone? This is everything we're going to be covering in our first chapter. In our second chapter, we're going to be looking at that age-old question, which is, so what do I actually talk about on my first dates? Finally, if that first date goes well, we're going to be looking at how you can communicate your intentions. How can you show someone that you're interested in meeting up with them again? Now that's going to cover us for about the first hour of this coaching session. After that, we have 30 minutes live Q&A where you're really welcome to send me your questions in, and I will be answering them live, so feel free to put me on the spot. But before we get into that, we're going to just take a look and see if those survey results are coming through about whether you rate yourself to be a good communicator or not. Now, if you are a great communicator already, hopefully I've got some good tips for you coming up that are going to help you anyway. And if you really want to improve your confidence in this area, hopefully I'm going to be able to also add lots of interesting techniques that you can take home and learn today. So perhaps while we're waiting for that vote results to come in, we can just do a quick recap of the key messages that have been in this chapter. Okay, so our first key message is good communication skills will help you to get more dates. They'll also help you to connect better with the dates that you have. And communication skills will help someone to recognise how special you are. So remember, as I can't underline this enough really, if right now you don't feel you're getting that recognition online, perhaps your messages are going without so many responses or they're just not turning into dates, remember that's not a reflection on you. That doesn't mean that you're really unattractive or that you can't get any dates. It's just going to be there's a communications gap where we need to show someone everything that makes you so special and so awesome. So I'm happy to say our survey results are in now, and 80% of you said, yes, I am a good communicator. So we're talking to a room of people who value their communication skills. So that's amazing. And for the 20% of you who don't feel really confident in your communication, as I said today, we're going to get really practical. So expect lots of useful tips that you can learn to improve your communication skills. Now, before we get on to our next chapter though, I do have some questions that people have sent in already, and there's some really good ones in here, so hold on for this. So to begin with, Jit asks, any tips on the type of opening chats that actually get a response, and also what not to write? So when we're looking at what makes a great opening message to someone, there's two things you want to bear in mind. One, that opening message has to be as unique as possible. When you send an opening message that's unique, it really helps the person who's reading that message to realise, oh wow, there's an interesting individual here. When you send a message that's the, hey, how are you? Hey, how's your weekend going? How's dating going during COVID? What's your dating life going like on here? People will automatically hit a mental snooze button simply because they may have seen that message or a very similar message several times before already that week. And that can lead to frustration for you, feeling like, well, I'm putting all this effort in, but I'm not getting any responses. So we really want to steer away from those generic opening messages. Instead, I want you to focus on saying something specific. The other reason we want to do this is I want you to show the person that you're messaging that there's a specific reason why you've chosen to message them. Another downside of sending that, hey, how's your weekend going message, is it doesn't show that you've chosen to message that person for a particular reason. It often isn't the case, but it can come across like you're just sending that message to everyone. Instead, we really want to make your potential match feel special. So step number one to writing a good message is just go onto their profile, and I want you to pick out something that stands out to you about them as a person, either from their photos or from what they've written in their profile. And this should be something that isn't related to how they look. Once you've got that unique characteristic, the next thing you need to do is put that into a message to them. So instead of starting your message, hey, how's your weekend going? Or hey, Anna, could you instead start with yoga? ? I'm much more of a running guy myself, but maybe you can arm twist me to go to a vinyasa class sometime. So you go right in there on your message with the part of their profile that's caught your eye. It's also really good in that first message to pose a direct question to them. So if you could also say yoga ? I'm a bit more of a running fan. What's my chances of getting you down to a racetrack sometime? So ? This provides a clear and easy thing for someone to respond to. So remember, if you keep it unique, you keep the phrasing original, and you give somebody something clear to respond to, all of these things are going to really help that first message to get a response. Yes, it is a little bit more effort at the beginning, but I promise you're going to get a much better response rate to those kinds of messages, which in turn is going to help you to feel motivated. So this second question comes from somebody called Louisa, and she asks, is it acceptable to get frustrated and skeptical when a guy messages all day, every day? So what I'm hearing from Louisa's question is, Louisa, it sounds like you find it quite overwhelming to be messaged every day. And perhaps when someone does message you all day, every day, instead of feeling like, wow, this person's really interested in me, you feel more like, why are they coming on so strong? It's not really resonating with you. And that's okay. I'm a big fan of taking your time to get to know someone. I really think it helps you to make good decisions about who you spend your time with dating. However, it's also important to recognise that none of us come with a user manual. So whilst you might like to take things slowly and prefer a calmer, steadier approach, for other people, they'll prefer to have that warmth and connection of lots of messages back and forth. So you want to help whoever's messaging you to understand how you like to be communicated with. So could you instead of perhaps feeling overwhelmed, could you say something like, just running out to a meeting, but I'll get back to these messages tomorrow, kiss. Or I'm terrible at messages, but how about a phone chat this weekend? So you start to give the other person direction as to how you like to be communicated with. This then gives you really good feedback because, of course, we all want to date people who listen to our feedback. And that will also help you to separate out the people who you think might just be coming on quite strong and flirting with everyone to those who are really sincerely interested in you. So my next question is from Ian, and it is my favourite question that I got sent in this time. It's full of personality and I love it. He asks, I have read Pride and Prejudice over 100 times, learning more each time. Is this a selling point or a put-off? So here's the thing about the original and quirky details about our lives. Yes, they create a Marmite effect. People will love it or they will not love it. It will mean that some people who read your profile will go, oh my gosh, that's a bit strange. Other people will be like, wow, I love Pride and Prejudice too. I would really like to talk about this novel with Ian. So what you've got to realise is you're not here to impress everybody. You're here to connect with the people who are best aligned and the best matches and connections for you. And because of that, I would say if you put it across in your profile with some playfulness, even if you said, I've read Pride and Prejudice over 100 times, I'm hoping this is a selling point, wink, then that shows that self-awareness and that sense of play that people find really attractive. It will create a talking point, and it will also create a filter so that the people who, as I said, are closest to you in terms of their values will also be able to understand and connect with your profile. So I've loved these questions so far. I'm so excited to hear more of them coming through during this live session. But for now, let's move on to our next chapter, which is all about how to message your match.